because outreach, and that's what we're talking about specifically. Like, I had always, um, I guess naturally growing up, I kind of never had trouble talking to new people. And I never really
Mm.
had trouble getting to know people or having conversations with people I didn't know. And I started as a really young. It was crazy is now that I'm thinking about it, in high school, I was really friends with like all of the groups. You know how high school was like separated. And I don't know if that's due to me being, and I feel like that is a big thing for me being a Virgo and such a grounded person is because I get along with everybody.
Yeah.
So it was super easy for me to be proactively talking to people and actually um in quote unquote outreach, right? So because I had been working in corporate for a couple of years before I even met you, that was something I had did with every single office job that I got. Even working in a fast food restaurant, like two two of the crew members that I knew were really good friends of mine. And that was because I not even got that job. My first job working at rallies is because of outreach, right? Which is crazy because I proactively went and connected with somebody a company that I knew was gonna pay me for my time.
Yeah. And that's so true. I think a lot of people wait until, whether you want to start a business, whether you become a freelancer. I think a lot of people kind of wait until they get the LLC or until they get the logo, until they get their, whatever brand essentials up to build relationships or to start connecting with people. And that's something that I kind of have to coach my clients on all the time. It's, just because you're not ready to launch doesn't mean that you shouldn't still go out there and practice outreach, because even if we're calling it outreach, outreach is the process of connecting again with clients
Or people in
before
general.
they even need you. I think, again, a huge part of this is that a lot of people kind of want to place people in a bucket and they're like, oh, can they be a client? Can they be a client? And before you even do that, like first you have to get in the practice of, do you even know how to communicate? Do you even know how to speak to people? Like if anybody knows me, I love that you shared your personal story, but if anybody knows me, like I used to be the biggest like shy person in the world. And I remember, my dad was an entrepreneur growing up, and so he would always be introducing me to new people, or he would always be, just telling everybody, oh, this is my daughter, blah, blah, blah. And again, I would have to introduce myself and I would be so shy. I didn't want to say my name. But again, I feel like in a way that was always preparing me for what I was about to go into my business. Because again, when you're running a business or when you're a freelancer, when you're a coach, you have to shake a lot of hands
You
and
have to talk to
you
people.
have to talk to new people, because if you don't talk to new people, how are you ever going to put yourself in front of a new audience? And that's all marketing is how can you put yourself in front of new people that don't even know you yet.
Perfect segue. Next slide. Which is the how to.
So how do you conduct outreach, which we already mentioned one, which was networking events. Networking events.
How
Sorry,
do you,
guys.
before you like even knew what outreach was, like what was one of the first things you did to make money as far as like outreach?
Mm, Networking events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I think a lot of people undermine networking events, but I know for me, networking events, like even pop-up shops, like remember how many we were going to in Cincinnati? We used to go to a networking event or a pop-up almost every single weekend, if not almost like 2 times a week. And that's really how I built a lot of relationships. I mean, even before then, I would say really just building relationships. And I feel like that's something that we're going to stress on this call over and over again. But before I even had a business, I mean, we were doing a lot of community like service. We were volunteering in the community. People just naturally knew us because of the work that we were doing in our personal lives. And then from there, we built relationships that the minute that we opened our business, it was actually kind of easy for us to get clients because people already knew us. So I would say like our hottest leads were our friends and family. And that's something that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But I think that a lot of people are like, oh, how do I get my first client? How do I get my first lead? The first people you want to be asking are your friends and family. Can your friends and family benefit from your services? And that might not always be the case, but that is going to be your hottest, I would say like your hottest or your closest inner circle that could benefit from your services because they already know you. The hardest part of a business or the hardest part of marketing, I feel like, is for people to know you because you have to build that trust. And that's why networking events are so important. And that's why I always say start with networking events because even if you don't get any clients, you're gonna gain the experience of talking to people. But yeah, that's really how I got my first clients from social media management was networking. And then they would tell other people, and then that led to referrals, which is another way how to get clients.
I think even before then, I think my first experience of outreach was filling out applications. I've been able to
Mm.
have, and we talking middle school, high school, I've been able to have so many different conversations with different people, and I may have made